So let's talk about becoming so good at coaching that your clients stay with you for years. Because this is how to build a sustainable, highly profitable, fun, fulfilling coaching business over the long haul. And if you're wondering who am I to be speaking on this subject, well, maybe I don't consider myself a master just yet, but I've worked with clients for years, literally 3.5 years, some of them paying me £80,000, some of them paying £60,000, £50,000. I worked with clients worth hundreds of millions on their way to billion-dollar status, CEOs managing hundreds of employees, and I've coached live in front of hundreds of others. I've coached maybe thousands of hours. Anyway, I'm not saying this to brag, but just to say I have credibility to speak on this subject, and it's something I'm really passionate about. I love coaching. I love the art, the science of coaching, and I'm a student of the game. Anyway, let's talk about just that, how to become so good at coaching that clients stay with you for years. And I think I have about 10 points. I've written some notes down on my phone if I look down. And the first thing to say is that it all starts with us. It all starts with our own inner game. A mentor once said to me, you can't take someone where you haven't been yourself. And that really stayed with me. There's not a place inside that I wouldn't be willing to go. In fact, I'm constantly doing the work. Sometimes I question it, sometimes I don't want to, but it's so much bigger than just doing the work for me. It's the way we shift and change the world by going inwards, integrating, healing. I'm always working with a coach. I'm often going on very intense, I wouldn't call them retreats, workshops, intensives. I've got 2 6-day ones coming up with John Wyland, all about embodied masculine leadership. And I do this stuff all the time. I've sat in ceremony, deep breathwork journeys, and I'm constantly going inwards to find the parts of me that need healing, that need love, that need tenderness, that need to be integrated, because our clients can feel that work. So it really all does start with us. And the second point, which is linked to that, is get a coach. You know, I'm sure you've heard the phrase, a coach without a coach is like a doctor without a doctor. And it's true. I will never, ever be without a coach, because it has simply changed my life. I would not be anywhere near where I am now if it wasn't for my coaches, mentors. I owe so much of my success, happiness, health, fulfillment to those that have guided me. And not only has it made me a better person, husband, father, athlete, human, but also it has made me so much more powerful in coaching. Just to see and witness my own coach me masterfully has allowed me to really up my game and improve my skills. So get a coach. Number 3 is seeing your client as the person they could be, not the person they present themselves as. And I think this is perhaps one of the most powerful things, especially in enrollment calls. In fact, it's so powerful to be seen as the person you could be. I remember one of my very first sessions where I was being coached, and I had a lot of trust with my coach at that time. So I shared some things that I've never shared with anyone. Some things I had shame about, the things that I've kind of, locked away. And I remember how I felt, and it's just giving me tingles now actually. I remember how I felt having shared that, where he didn't buy into those stories. He just saw me as who I could be. And I shifted in that moment so much, and it really landed in me. It's like just seeing someone as who they could be shifts them. It's beyond words. We can't kind of explain the magic that happens in coaching sometimes, but simply seeing your client, the person opposite you, as the person they could be shifts them. I had an enrollment session recently where I really didn't do much. It was an hour and a half where I just held space. I was really present. I reflected back a few things, but most of all is the shift came from my intention of seeing him as he could be, not buying into his limitations, not buying into his stories, but seeing him as limitless. And he, at the end of that session, thanked me and said, "Thank you so much. I feel so happy. I feel excited, inspired, confident." And of course he said yes to work with me, and I really didn't do much apart from see him as the person he could be. Now again, this starts with us. It starts with going inwards. It starts with reflecting on, who are we? Like, who am I is a question I sit with a lot. And what I've come to is, I'm limitless. I'm consciousness. And I won't get into that right yet, because that is a whole new series of content. But when I have gone inwards and reflected, who am I, what's possible for me, and stretched my thinking, that is reflected or transmitted through me, through my clients. So again, it all starts with us. So number 4 is getting into the body. Again, this starts with us. I would consider myself as a deeply embodied person, and it's not something that, well, of course it's natural because we're all naturally embodied, but I've been conditioned out of being embodied, so it's something I've had to relearn or undo, should I say. But I have a lot of embodiment practices that get me into my body. The body is where the power is. The body is where intuition lies. And that's where real breakthroughs happen. Not in the tools, the frameworks. That's like the top 5%. The 95% of shifts happen in the body, where it doesn't really make sense, where you get these intuitive senses, these intuitive pulls that lead you to what's really going on. So get into the body. If you haven't got an embodiment practice, I highly encourage you to get one. I do capoeira, I do dance, I do yoga, I do lots of stretching, I do breath work, I do lots of time in nature, and that allows me to really get into my body, connect with my body, and really feel into my intuition and sort of master that connection with my intuition, because as I say, that's where the real shifts happen. But also get your clients into their body. As I said before, we've been so conditioned to get into the head. In society, cognition has been celebrated rather than deep embodiment. And for me, many of my clients are pretty disembodied. So getting them into their body, getting them back into that felt sense of what their body is telling them to, allows or helps your clients get helps your clients get back in touch with their intuition, their felt sense. So they start honouring who they are and what they truly want, not what others think they should do. So get in the body. Number 5, silence. I'm observing quite a few people coach now. One of the first things I'll say is speak less, hold silence. One of my sessions I've done with a client recently is I was silent for a whole hour, literally a whole hour. It was very, very uncomfortable, but we got to something very, very deep, because in the silence, again, they get connected to their intuition, their felt sense, and they start to say things that are below the surface. Far too many coaches stay at the surface level. Nothing really shifts at the surface level. Things shift when you drop into the body, drop into the felt sense, drop into what's really going on. It's never the first thing, it's never the second thing. It's often the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 100th thing. And silence allows you, the client, to get there. So what I would say is, in this next week of coaching, stay silent for 5, 10, 20 seconds longer. Hold it till it feels so uncomfortable, and then a little bit more. It is not your job to think, remember, it is our clients' jobs to think. And I remember when I first started coaching, I was so stressed. I had so much pressure on my shoulders as I was coaching, because I was trying to think my way through the whole session. But when I realized it's not my job to think, it's my client's job to think. It's my job to hold space, create the safe container, to be a channel of intuition, to reflect back and to let go. That's it. It's really not my job to think. Now, sometimes I dip into mentorship, but I usually do that at the end of a session because I really like to encourage my client into their own intuition, their own felt sense, into what's below the surface. So holding silence. Number 6 is challenge them. I think far too many coaches are way too nice. We are not here to make friends. We are here to serve. We are here to get our clients and help our clients get the results and changes and shifts that they want. And that often doesn't happen in niceties. It happens in truth slaying, in challenging them. I remember one of my clients who is running a pretty big insurtech business, and he was always late. Well, he was late for the first 4 sessions with me by 3 to 4 minutes. Now, I didn't say anything in the first one, the second one, the third one, but I was collecting that data in my mind. And after the 4th session he was late, I just reflected back. You've been late for the last 4 sessions by about 4 or 5 minutes. Where else is this happening in your life? And he was like, Joel, everywhere. My life's a mess. He didn't say those words, but my life is chaotic. It's deeply unorganized, and I'm always late because I can get away with it. I've always been the top guy, so I can kind of get away with it. And I asked, well, how do you think the people you turn up late to feel? And they said, well, I think they'd lose respect for me and they lose trust for me. It's like, okay, so what are you going to do about it? Anyway, it felt uncomfortable to challenge him on that. I'm a recovering people pleaser, so it was very uncomfortable to challenge on that, especially as someone who is perhaps further ahead than me, who's leading a very large business. It felt uncomfortable, but that led to some really big shifts because he realized how he does anything is how he does everything. So that one small shift led to some massive breakthroughs in his life. And I'm constantly challenging people. I'm challenging their narrative, their stories, their limitations, whether things are true, whether they're incongruent with what they say, if they're not following through their actions. Really inviting you into more truth slaying. And how to do that is firstly in your embodiment, to sit with authority, not get bought into their own embodiment, and if they're sort of all over the place, sit with groundedness and breathe and share with conviction, but unattachment as well. It may not be the breakthrough, it may not be anything, but when you have the courage to just share, reflect back, or ask questions that feel intuitive to you without any attachment, something will come from that. So that is number 6. Number 7 is consider life as practice. I think far too many coaches just turn up to sessions or coaching the way they want to. You know, I've been to coaching events before where other coaches have just been speaking so much, asked no questions, terrible listening. And I'm like, dude, life is practice. This has been such a big insight for me recently. Everything is practice. The way you have dinner with your partner, the way you play with your children, the way you go to events, the way you greet the barista at the local cafe shop. Cafe shop? That's an interesting one. So, life is practice. Number 8 is coach better clients. Some of my sessions with my, clients, I just think, wow, I did nothing there. That was so easy, because my clients are amazing. They've got amazing minds. They're smart, they're intelligent, and it's really been my job to hold that space, to hold silence, to stay grounded in my body, to challenge, to reflect back, and really get out of the way, to be honest. And the better clients that I coach, the easier it gets and the better I get at coaching. They also challenge me. My clients challenge me, they inspire me, they really invite me to keep growing. If your clients start outgrowing you, they're gonna leave. The reason why my clients have stayed with me 4 years is because they can see my growth. They can see the rapid progression that I've gone through. They can feel it. So, coach better clients. How to coach better clients? Become a better client. It all starts with us. So, coaching better clients will make you a better coach. Number 9, surprise and delight. This is a small one, but I think it adds up over the long haul. So I send probably 2 to 3 books out a week. It's probably 60, 80 pounds in books. Sometimes I send 10, 20 books a week to clients, to potential clients, to friends. And sometimes I drop random clients calls when I'm out for a walk. I will send notes, and just these little touches really add up. And I don't do it to manipulate. I don't do it for this reason, but it just does work. When you give without expectations, it always comes back. Again, it's not the reason why to do it, it just works. Do it because it's fun. Do it because you enjoy it. Do it because it feels good. I love sending people books. I love sharing things that have worked for me with others. Even if it's a competitor, even if it's a coach who, they could go to them. I don't hesitate, because if it is good for them, if it was good for me, it would be good for my clients. So, surprise and delight. Number 10, have fun. Have fun. Now, this may feel paradoxical to the idea of we're not here to make friends, but hold that tension, because you can. But having fun is a great way to soften, to actually regulate your client, to get your clients back into their body, out of their head. So having fun is a great way to go through change or help your clients change whilst being more regulated, whilst being more embodied. It's a really underutilized and very skillful way of facilitating really powerful change. So have fun. I think that is it. So those are your 10. I hope this has been useful. Let me know if you have any questions below. If this has been useful, give me a follow. It really helps me out. And I've got so many good videos, so much good content coming, and I'm just getting started. So sending you so much love.